Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.
Hello and welcome to another fab episode of Classic Restos. Now on this week's show, it's a little varied for you. I have travelled to Atherton in far North Queensland, so why not stay in your favourite hammock and you'll see more right after this.
It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. And Heron Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au.
Prior to this, the incredible township of Mount Isa is as far north in Queensland as I have travelled in the history of Classic Restos. So before we roll out today's episode, here is a little bit about the region that I have been so kindly invited to visit. Let's take a look at Atherton, located just southwest of Cairns in far north Queensland and home to over 7,000 people. A farming community is nestled here, with hay baling and potato harvesting being just two enterprising avenues. The view of Atherton tablelands from the summit of Mount Baldy is amazing, and so too is the Atherton Main Street from Window Maker Hill. Like most places away, there are stacks of stuff to do. There's the Mount Baldy walking track. Cyclists can enjoy bike riding through there. The tranquility of the two-storey bird hide at Hasty Swamp National Park can be enjoyed. Or perhaps the Hu Wang Temple at Atherton Chinatown might be more your scene. Either way, whatever your pastime, you'll be made welcome up here in the north. So there was an impromptu visit, a barbecue meet and greet on my arrival here on Saturday night at the Atherton Mens Shed. Here's a little something for you from the Saturday night. Saturday afternoon, making our way through the Atherton Mens Shed Cruise-In. How you doing, Jim?
Very well, thanks, Fletch. And yourself?
Good, mate. Good. Yeah, picked on you as soon as you rolled through the gate in this incredible 63 EJ panel van. Wow.
Yeah, it's a you don't see too many of them around anymore.
Now, history-wise, local car?
Yeah, it was purchased new from back then. It was called Atherton Holden. In April 1963, it was purchased by people by the name of Ross from Tolga. It's a local tableland car. It's never really left the tablelands. It was still used as a daily drive up till 1996, and then it was taken off the road because the old lady was basically, I think they took their licence off her. But basically it's been in a shed since then in storage, and then we picked it up by chance and we've done a full ground up restoration, and it is what you see now.
Jim, it's testament to the old Holden, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they're solid, but they don't make them anymore like that. So.
No, there's a lot to be said for simplicity.
You got that right. At least you can work on one of these.
Now, Jim, inside the original seat, the original door cards, that's tremendous.
It is. They've got a couple of marks on them, but I mean, what do you expect for a 55-year-old car? But we're very fortunate. The original timber board in the back is still there. The board behind the seat is still there.
Yeah.
We obviously put new roof lining in.
As long as you're not bored, Jim.
No, we're not bored. I've got 3 others at home, actually 4 others at home. I've got a very understanding wife.
Good on you, mate. All right, nice interviewing you, Jim. Well done with you, EJ.
Well done, Fletch, and thank you for choosing me to have a yarn to.
You are welcome. Good on you. It's been quite a while since we've featured a 1957 Chev on Classic Restos and the package that comes with it. How are you, Willie?
All right, Fletch, how are you?
Good. It's been a while. Classic car this, 57 Chev. I don't know where to start with it. It's been customised. There's a bit of billet, and it looks like also you have a crocodile skin fetish.
Yeah, a little bit of that. There's a bit of crocodile and cream leather in there.
The days have gone, Willie, to put suitcases in the back of this car.
Yeah, they have gone. I don't take no luggage anymore.
Too bad if he wants to do a trip somewhere, but hey, he's got some fine tunes going on. Now, we start from the front, we'll gradually move our way to the rear of the car. Now, what powers it up front? What have you done there?
You got a 383 Chevy Stroker and a turbo 400R Buick 4-speed automatic, 9-inch, which has been narrowed, mini tub, had the rear springs relocated into the chassis, so it looks like a 1-tonner. And the front end's like hot rod suspension underneath, all painted underneath, and a Nissan beige and a raspberry candy red.
Willie, I have to make comment. The 2 4-barrel carbs up front look sensational sitting on top there.
Yeah, 500 dual Adelbrocks on it. They go all right, they're pretty well. We just got a little fine tuning to do. And it runs a little bit rich.
Yep.
So it should carry out about 540, 550 horsepower.
Yep. Willie, take us through the interior. We'll start with that digital dash.
Yeah, it's got Dakota digital gauges, Clarion stereo system, Pioneer speakers, tweeters and woofers and all that.
Willie, the 57 really stands out here tonight. What a great little turnout.
Yeah, they get a lot of cars here, but a lot more tonight. There's a lot of cars that are around that you wouldn't see, that are still in sheds at home, or people just don't take them out. But it's good to see a good turnout Donnie's got here tonight.
Yep.
And they're good to come here. It's for the old men's shed.
Yep.
So look after the old men all the time.
Yep, good on you, mate. Thanks, Willie.
That's all right, Fletch. We'll see you later.
You too. Cheers, mate. Time for Jim now. How you doing?
Good, thanks, Fletch.
So, mate, what do you got here? Tell us.
69 AMX, made by American Motors in US, assembled in Australia by Australian Motor Industries.
What a rare car. How many are here?
They made 24 of these. This is number 24. Yep.
How cool's that? Number 24. What a car. In their rarity, though, not a large car. You've got a 343 cubic inch V8 up front.
Correct.
Power to weight ratio is nice. Nicely appointed car. The interior with the, if you will, the tombstone high back bucket seats look nice. What's it like to drive, Jim?
It's good to drive, really good to drive. I enjoyed it a lot.
You can't help but notice in your face that big 140 miles an hour speed. I mean, they made a statement, didn't they?
Yeah, they did make a statement. Yeah, I like that. And two-seater, genuine two-seater, twin grip diff, really good car.
Now, what's the go, Jim? This is a 343. Now, the others are 390s, right?
Correct. They're, in America, they've got various sizes. The 24 Australians all had a 343, but quite a few in America. I think there were 19,000 over the 3 years. Yeah. Quite a few over 390.
When I think of AMC, I think of the Ramblers, the Matadors, the Javelin. There's not a lot in this country. How long have you had the car?
I've had the car 6 months. I only found out about them not long ago. I'm new to them. But I love the Underdog, and I think American Motors, it's a pity Chrysler bought them out.
Yeah. When you say the Underdog, you're quite right. They slipped under the radar as a muscle car, as a performance car. It gets back to the lesser, but they were a good car. You talk to the owners that have these things, and they love them.
Got to agree. I was very, very, extremely lucky to get this car. Yeah. It's quite a well-known car in Australia and even overseas. And yeah, I'm on top of the world. Yeah, really lucky.
You got yourself an investment, mate, but not only that, you got yourself something that's nice to drive. It's a classic, it's rare, and you're enjoying it, and that's the main thing.
Enjoying it, 100%.
Good on you. Thanks, Jim.
No worries, Fletch. Thank you.
Go, Fletch! Go, Classic Restos!
My passion for cars began when Nana and Pop bought their new Toyota Crown. It was Nana's, really. She loved that car. We went everywhere in it. My passion now is just the same, even though my cars are a little different. I've still got Nana's car, couldn't part with it. And I reckon if she was here today, she'd be insured with Shannons too.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
If you have a restoration project, Heron and Forbes has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au because Heron Forbes has the range. Welcome back, and it's a big thank you to Don and Leila Blanford, owners of Atherton Auto Wreckers, to organise the interviews for this northern episode. And now it's time for Laurie.
I've always liked cars. I've bought this shed just to store them 18 years ago. It's my toy box. Built the little house on the back so I can just step into the toy box. This car behind me is a 1922 Cadillac. It came as a chassis, a cowl, a motor, no front axle or anything, no body. I've pretty much built it from there up. It's quite a unique car, that's why I got it. I probably paid too much, but it intrigued me, so I wanted it. It's a V8, I think it's 314 cubic inches, side valve. When you start up, you need to pump a pump on the dashboard to pressurise the tank. I've had it running, it runs quite well. Where do classic cars go back with me? Well, I was 14 years old. There was a parade in Ravenshoe with a 1928 Chev with wooden spoke wheels, and I have to have one. So by the time I was 19, I got my first real vintage. It's a 1930 Hupmobile and a 1929 Dodge came with it. And it's just carried on from there. Yeah, it's okay to have all these cars, but then you need insurance for peace of mind. And mine are insured with Shannons and have been for quite some time, so yeah, I'm happy with them. What do classic cars mean to me? Well, the really old stuff, I like to see a wreck come back to life. We'll build it from nothing back to what it used to be. And there's a few others here that were original owners, quite old. I collected those just to keep them good. Yeah, I don't know, I've just always had this thing for old cars. The new ones do nothing for me. It's old stuff, they've all got character. Each one is like an individual. Yeah, it just does something to me, I don't know why.
Time for a Dado on today's show, and the Dado boys, well, you're going to love this. Pretty rare, 1971 1600 Datsun Wagon. How you doing, Laurie?
I'm good, thank you, Fletch.
That's good. You're having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun.
You're jumping out of your skin, aren't you?
Sure am.
You are. The Japanese cars, I have a bit of a soft spot for them. The early Japanese product entering Australia gave our manufacturers a little bit of a hurry up because our manufacturers started realising about panel fitment and paint finish, and that's where the Japanese cars were very, very good. We look at the 1600 alloy head, overhead cam. What a great little car they were. What's the story on this one, Laurie?
Well, a fella traded in his Austin 1800 ute on this on the 21st of June 1971. His wife was in hospital having a baby. The salesman came to him and said, "Do you want to buy this car?" He said, "If my daughter is born healthy, I will buy it." Right. So the day she was born, he turned up with some flowers and said, "This is for the baby. Do you want this car?"
Wow. I wonder what the baby thought of the flowers.
He never really said that.
Being a wagon too, you pointed out something interesting. There's a light under the bonnet here for when things go wrong, when things get dark, obviously. The light detaches on a wire and you can take it around to different parts of the engine bay. Apparently this represented the imported model, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I was told. It's got that little light, trouble light, and a few other little chrome strips and little gadgets in the seats that were only on the imported model.
Yeah. It's a fairly special car then, Laurie, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm happy it's just a one-owner vehicle. The fellow was 86 years old and said it's time to sell the car.
Yep.
It's been garaged all its life. It's only got 90-something thousand original miles. And yes, I just wanted to preserve the car.
See, there you go. Datsun 1600 wagon. Rare as, especially being, well, as Laurie alluded to, the imported model. It's nice to see the original dress rims, the full face wheel covers are still on the car. It's those little things that just haven't changed since 1971. Moving through, as we do, Laurie, who would have ever have thought the day would have come where utes were done up? I'm not just talking freshened up, but ground up restorations. We're obviously once being a commercial vehicle.
Yeah, it's not something that you would sort of foresee.
Yeah.
But this is my brother's 1974 Xb Gs Falcon ute. It's got a 302 4-speed, replaced quarter panel, the whole floor in the back. There's quite a bit of rust in it, but yes, those are becoming collectible.
Yep. Around the engine bay looks done. You've done a good job there, Laurie. All finished around there.
Yeah, all the holes, any spare holes were welded up and correct ones put back in, all painted and yeah, like new.
Yep. It's good to see the original air cleaner in place as well, I reckon.
Yeah, that's not very common these days.
Yeah, absolutely. When your brother handed the car to you, obviously, to get the work done, what sort of condition was it in? Was it a bit of a basket case?
Well, it was complete. It looked fairly reasonable, but once I started grinding bog out of it, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 1346 46 for a quote.
Heron Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. And with a range like this, you cannot go wrong. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps, air compressors and different air tools, sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House, and they're also open Saturday mornings. Their range of machine tools are workshop tested. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare and Forbes has the range.
Geez, Laurie, it can rain here, mate.
It can.
Oh.
One of the wettest days so far, but
Yeah. I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for quite some time yet.
nah, it's going pretty good now.
Bit of drizzle.
Yeah.
So you blokes up here in the north, that's a bit of drizzle.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, we've got 3 cars lined up here. Noisy in the shed because of the rain. Wow, it's very monsoonal here at the moment. Keeps things interesting. This car here, Laurie, what can you tell us about it?
That's a 1930 Hupmobile sedan. They built Hupmobile from about 1908 till 1941 or 2. I bought it in 2003. It was fairly rough. Mechanically it's finished. Bodywork was pretty much finished. And then I got sidetracked and haven't painted it yet.
Oh, I can't understand that.
No, there's nothing else to do in here.
Okay, now the Tirana, what's the story there?
That's 77 LX hatchback. Got a 308, 4-speed.
It's a nice little package, that, isn't it?
It is. It's one of my favourite sort of things. SLRs and hatchbacks. Yeah.
And we move on. We've got the little Morris there at the end. What's going on with her?
It's a long-term project. It's in storage, ready for one day.
That'll be for when Laurie lives to about 130, 140. You'll get it done by then, you reckon?
Maybe a bit further.
What do you say about the year of 1939? Time for about to be incredible world change. Buick produces this motor car. Legendary straight 8-cylinder. There's one right here. You're a lucky guy to have this. Laurie, what an incredible car this is.
Yes, Fletch, it's one of the first of the aerodynamic shapes, the slopey front. It's a good car. Gentleman bought it in the early 70s from southeast Queensland, restored it over a number of years, and he drove it for quite a few years, and when he got too old to drive it, he offered it to me. That's where the story gets to. Again, so
Unless you knew these cars inside out and back to front, almost very, very Ford for the same year as well, if it was coming towards you. The 39 Ford looks similar.
yeah, Ford, Chev, even Cadillac was very similar in 1939.
To think 1939 was so long ago, yet they took on such an aerodynamic shape, didn't they? Very windswept, and you would have had to have been a fairly well-to-do person, especially in this country, to be driving one of these straight-eight Buicks back in those times.
Yeah, they were a pretty flash car in the day. They were, coil springs front and rear, very smooth riding. It's a great car.
When we look at 1939, we look at the features of this car. The first thing that you notice when you sit in the passenger side and look through the windscreen is a clock in the door of the glove compartment. You look over to the speedo and around the cluster there's a battery gauge, there's a temperature gauge. There's cars in 1970 that didn't have those features.
The clock is electric. It winds terminal contact touches and winds the spring every couple of minutes. Yeah. It's got a little lever on the gear shift for the turn indicators. It was the first year that they had turn indicators on the Buick.
And what an incredible car for a bride. The room in the back, you can see they're popular wedding cars as well, right, Laurie?
Yeah, there's heaps of leg room. Yeah. Stretch out like a lounge chair in the back of this.
Okay, Laurie, time to talk about the engine up front. Now, we've all heard about the straight-eight Buick. It is legendary. If an older person's got a story to tell you about a Buick, 9 times out of 10 it'll be this straight-eight. What's the cubic capacity?
248 cubic inches. In the book it says you can pull away in top gear from, I think it's 6 miles per hour, and it does.
See, they're the stories I've heard. First gear on any mountain, pulling something, and back in the day, nothing outpulled one of these Buicks.
Yeah, it's just incredible torque.
Looking around the car as well, the features, love the die-cast door handles. Heavy-duty, well-made door handles. Round to the front of the car, the grille, again, we've got some die-cast going on there. The Buick emblem sitting in centre. They really built these things, didn't they?
Yeah, there's bonnet catches are part of the side vent on the bonnet. They're hidden, just pop out, the bonnet comes up.
Yes, I must say, the 39 Buick goes down in my books as a bit of a legend. I do have a soft spot for the 39. Another feature up on top of the dashboard, a pipe holder. The gentleman used to place his pipe up on there when he drove the car. The shape of this car, well, it reminds me of my hairstyle. It's windswept and majestic. Now, Laurie, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you very much for inviting me to your shed today, and Donnie Blanford over there as well. Donnie's done a great job in helping to organise the interviews for this episode. Laurie, I really appreciate your time. You take care of yourself, all right?
Okay, you too, Fletch.
All right. Thanks, mate.
Righto.
Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Restos here in Atherton in far North Queensland. We saw some beautiful pictures of the region inviting you here. Of course, some interviews from the Atherton Mens Shed from Saturday night, and of course Laurie here with his collection as well. Now on next week's show we'll be doing a private collection in Cairns, which should be very interesting. Until then, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Heron and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.